Okay guys, how do you add more than 100 horsepower without changing the pulley and the boost on your Supercharged LS? Well, first, you add an intercooler. Then you add E85. Then you add the right camshaft. Hello everybody, I'm Richard Holdner, and as always, yes, welcome to the channel. Today we're looking at a Supercharged LS, and we're going to add more than 100 horsepower without changing the boost. That's right. Now, Richard, how is that possible? I know. Nitrous, right? No, it's not nitrous. It's also not sorcery. It's just science. Okay, guys, let's take a look and see how we can improve the power by 100 or more horsepower without actually changing the boost. And by that, I mean without increasing the boost on our supercharged combination, or this particular one's an LS. This actually works on small block Chevys, big block Chevys, Fords, whatever you're trying to do. But we have a Vortech centrifugal supercharger, and the easy way to add power on any of these supercharged combinations, obviously, is to increase the boost. And you do that by speeding up the blower. So you change to either a smaller blower pulley, which spins the blower faster, or a bigger crank pulley, which has the same effect. But all of these changes were made without doing any of that. We didn't change the pulleys at all, and let's find out how we got big power gains without changing the boost. We got to start out with our naturally aspirated combination. This particular one was a 5.3 liter LS, and it was a power adder kind of combination from the guys at Strictly Performance. It was basically a stock bottom end, so stock block, stock crank, stock Gen 4 rods, and it had stock Gen 4 flat top pistons in it. These ones had been hard anodized to improve the strength a little bit. This thing had ring gap in it, and it had a set of ported 706 heads from the guys at K-Tech. Stock valve sizes still, but ported nonetheless. We had a truck intake manifold on this and a truck throttle body. We did have a valve spring upgrade because we tried a number of different camshafts. The combination was run with 80-pound injectors, a set of 1 7/8" long tube headers, and we ran it with a Mazir electric water pump the way that we always do. And we ran it with a Holley HP management system to control everything, to make sure that we could dial in the timing and air fuel. And so what we did is we always do make sure that we run this thing naturally aspirated to find out what the gains are from the supercharger. So, and we also equipped this thing for this first test with a factory LS9 camshaft. I know, not always my favorite cam, but let's be honest. I mean, of all of the factory cams, the LS9 is the most powerful, at least in terms of peak power. You're not going to have anything other than an LS7, which is very, very similar in specs. That one makes the most peak power, and this one did very well. If you take a look at the video that I have up on the ultimate comparison of stock camshafts, you can take a look and see what all the factory cams do. But this LS9, pretty powerful for a factory camshaft. So run in this configuration, our naturally aspirated 5.3 produced 428 horsepower and right at 400 foot-pounds of torque. So now let's find out what happens when we add the Vortech supercharger and see how much power we gain from our boost. So here's what happened. We added a Vortech kit basically designed for a truck application. I'll go ahead and move myself down here a little bit. For a truck application, fairly low boost, non-intercooled, and this is very important because this is going to be one of the upgrades, but non-intercooled. The Vortech was making a peak of 8.4 pounds, started out at just 1.9 pounds down here at 3,100 RPM. The Vortech was run with 21 degrees of total timing up top, which means you probably could get away with this on 91, certainly on 93. We mixed in some race gas because we didn't want to hurt this test motor that was given to us, but you probably could run this on pump gas without any problem. So run at that, and we ran it with the stock pulley ratio supplied with the kit, meaning the factory truck damper pulley and then a 3.6-inch blower pulley, and we never changed those configurations for any of the tests. So the blower speed remained the same for all of these. As I said, 8.4 pounds on this. This brought our peak power up to 606 horsepower and 523 foot-pounds of torque. So pretty good gains on this combination. But now let's take a look and see, and as I said, only at 8.4 pounds. But now let's find out how we make even more power from our supercharged LS. Okay, we've added our Vortech Supercharger to our slightly modified LS9 cammed 5.3 liter, and we picked up 178 horsepower at a peak boost change of about 8.4 pounds. We had 21 degrees in this combination. Again, something you probably could run on pump gas. So we went down from 29 NA down to 21 under boost. And here's what happened. The next step that we did was, hey, look, this is a supercharged combination. We're running boost. Now let's take a look and see what happens when we run an intercooler. So what we did was I configured the air-to-water intercooler. This one came from Supercharger. So look, Vortech and Supercharger working together to make more power. But we ran the air-to-water intercooler, just put it in line from between the supercharger and the throttle body. We ran dyno water through this, and then it made no changes to the boost level. All we did was add the intercooler in line, and then because we were making more power, obviously we had to adjust the air fuel. We kept this thing in the mid to high 11s on the air fuel, and again, no change in timing. So here's what happened when we added our air to water intercooler to the combination. You can see peak power jumped from 606 horsepower and 523 horsepower to 647 horsepower and 561 foot-pounds of torque. So the intercooler netted us a gain of 41 horsepower. The interesting thing is it also dropped the charge temperature, which you would expect. We were getting temperatures in the 208 to 210 degree range without the intercooler on it, and this dropped it down to 93 degrees. We did add one more degree of timing with the intercooler, went from 21 to a peak of 22 out at the top. So if you can see, intercooling obviously beneficial. We saw a big change in charge temperature. The thing would be much less likely to detonate. This would be very important if you're running this thing on pump gas. And now we're going to take a look and see what happens when we step up from our pump gas, race gas mixture up to E85. So we're running an intercooler. So we thought, hey, look, let's put good fuel in it. Here's what happened when we added our E85. Peak power jumped from 647 horsepower and 561 foot-pounds of torque up to 669 horsepower and 574 foot-pounds of torque, meaning that we picked up 22 horsepower from changing from our pump gas race gas mix up to E85. Your jump would be even greater if you were, I'm going to go ahead and move myself up here. Your jump would be even greater if you were actually just running 91 or 93 pump gas with the lower timing levels that you'd have to have that. And so running E85 obviously is always beneficial. We always pick up power. We were able to add one more degree of timing in there with the E85. So now we're up to a total of 23 degrees of total timing with the E85. And then our final step with this combination, again, we have not changed the pulleys, have not changed the boost, although the boost did change a little bit from all of these changes. I'm going to show you the boost curve here at the end. What we did now was, well, we've got an LS9 camshaft in this thing. Let's put a real camshaft in this thing. Let's put something that's better than some leftover factory cam that a guy would have laying around. And so we stepped up to a camshaft from the guys at PULLEY Racing. This was a centrifugal blower cam. It was 613 596 lift, a 222 244 degree duration split, and 115 degree lobe separation angle. And here's what happened when we added camshaft. We got a big change in power. As you can see, peak power was up to 716 horsepower and 606 foot-pounds of torque. We added 47 horsepower with the cam swap, and again, had no change in pulley ratio there. Now that we've taken a look, we can see obviously the right camshaft, the right kind of fuel, having timing it. And with the PULLEY cam, we kept timing at 23 degrees, the same as we had with the LS9 camshaft and the E85. And the PULLEY camshaft was also run with the E85. We just continued with that on the way out. So we had gone from our NA combination where we're making 428 horsepower and then 606 horsepower once we added the Vortech, and now we're at 716 horsepower, which means we've added 110 horsepower basically to our supercharged combination without changing the pulleys. Pretty cool stuff, but let's find out what happened to the boost along the way. Now it's time to take a look at the changes in boost, and I know what you're thinking, Richard, you said that there were no changes in boost. Well, we didn't change the speed of the supercharger, we didn't change the blower pulley, and we didn't change the crank pulley, both of which changed the speed of the blower, and then the output, and then the boost level. So we didn't make any of those changes. But there are other things that also affect the boost pressure that you see in the intake manifold. One of those things, obviously, is cam timing. The other is any sort of restriction that you might put, like an intercooler, between the supercharger and the intake manifold. So let's take a look and see how the boost changes with each one of our changes that we made. So we start off, this is with our Vortech in non-intercooled form. We ran this obviously on our 5.3 liter. We started out down here at 1.9 psi and rose to a peak of 8.5 psi. And then here's what happened when we installed the intercooler, our air-to-water intercooler on it. The boost came down, not surprising, for two reasons. One is an intercooler is going to represent some kind of restriction, whether it's a little or a lot. But the other thing that's going to happen, because we saw a 100-degree change in charge temperature, it's also going to drop the boost just based on the change in temperature. So we went down by as much as, let's see, 7.9, 8.4, about a half a pound is what we dropped. So that's probably less about the restriction and more about the change in charge temperature. As I said, we dropped it by 100 degrees or so. So big change in boost there. So now let's take a look when we added the E85. Not surprising, really no change in temperature. But we did see a change when we changed the camshaft. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our non-intercooled version. And we can see that I'm going to get rid of our E85 version. So this is basically the change in boost represented by the camshaft. So we went from the LS9 cam, which is the line on the bottom, to the BTR camshaft, which is the line on the top. So the interesting thing is the cam that made less power actually showed less boost. So let me know in the comments, why do you think that is? Why did the Brian Tooley camshaft, which is a bigger camshaft and more aggressive, you would think that it would have lowered the boost pressure and made more power at a lower boost, which is normally what we see, but that's not what happened here. We actually saw a slight increase in boost from the LS9 cam going to the Brian Tooley racing cam, but it also made quite a bit more power. Armature holder, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff. It's possible to add more than 100 horsepower without changing pulleys.